Question number 5 is a demand and price question. So the question reads that the demand curve in the diagram shows the relationship between the number of car journeys and the cost of a car journey. So the y-axis represents the cost of a car journey, which is price, and the x-axis is the number of car journeys, which is quantity. What would cause the demand curve to shift to the left? Now, in most of these questions, the trick is to understand whether there's a movement along the curve or whether there's a shift along the curve. And so the important thing to remember here is that whenever there is a change in the price, so in the price here is the cost of car journey, which is the variable on the y-axis. Whenever there is a change in that variable on the y-axis, which is the cost of a journey or the price, that always leads to a movement along the curve. So if the cost of a car journey were to go up, then there would be a fall in the quantity of car journeys, and so we would move along the curve. And if there was a fall in the cost of a journey, then we would have a movement on the right side. But this question is talking about what would cause the demand curve to shift to the left. Now, in order for either the demand or the supply curve to shift, there has to be a change in any other variable except for price, which causes some sort of a shift. So now let's look at these options and see which option represents a change in the price and which option represents a change in a non-price factor. So option A talks about a reduction in car tax. A reduction in car tax means that the cost of a car journey would actually go down. Now, if the cost of a car journey were to go down, that means that it would be cheaper to travel. And so since this is a change in the price, there the only movement will be along the curve, there won't be a shift. So this is out. Option B is a reduction in petrol prices. Again, a reduction in petrol prices would reduce the cost of a car journey, and so this is also a change in the price factor, and so this is not a non-price factor, and so we would again have a movement on the curve, we will not have a shift. So this is also out. Option number C is a reduction in public transport prices. Now, if the public transport becomes cheaper, so we need to know that public transport is a substitute to car journey. So if a public transport becomes cheaper, that means that people will have more demand for public transport, and the quantity for public transport will increase, and the quantity for public and a car journey will decrease. So this is a change in a non-price factor which is affecting demand, and so this would lead to a shift in the demand curve. And so because demand curve would fall, we know that the demand would shift to the left. So this is what we will have. From D we will go to D1, and so this is the correct answer. Option number D is also a change in price, because an reduction of tolls on motorways will lead to an increase in the cost of a car journey, which is an increase in price. So which means that there will be a movement, and this is also not a shift. And so we will have the correct answer is option number C.